So the GNSO Council is the body within the generic name supporting organization here at ICANN that's responsible for commissioning and managing the policy work within the generic name supporting organization, the GNSO. The Council met here in Buenos Aires for our regular meeting that we have at ICANN meetings, and we had a particularly full agenda. There was a motion to pass a further year of the GNSO liaison to the GAC. Another major milestone was, of course, dealing with the work of the cross-community working group on the IANA Stewardship Transition. From the GNSO perspective, that's a milestone in that we were able to support that transmission and move that critical piece of cross-community work further on. Another motion which we've dealt with here in Buenos Aires was to deal with the final report of the work on translation and transliteration of contact information with domain names, otherwise known as WHOIS. I'm pleased to say that the Council has voted to support the output of that working group, and so that work will now be transmitted onto the board for hopefully final approval such that it becomes binding policy. Another item we dealt with here was some work from a non-PDP working group. This is a working group that produced policy recommendations. And this working group dealt with policy recommendations over the interface between policy and implementation. What this particular working group did was looked into that issue in more detail and produced 3 very specific recommendations to enhance and improve the work of the GNSO going forward. We have approved that outcome from the working group and very much look forward to communicating that to the ICANN board. So we had in mind that it was necessary to produce an issue report in and around future rounds of new GTLDs. However, before commencing on that issue report, this was such a substantial piece of prior work, the whole new GTLD program, that it was felt to be useful to form a discussion group that evaluated that landscape and fed into the issue report. I'm pleased to say that discussion group produced its analysis. The Council looked at that, and on the basis of that has voted to commission an issue report, which is the first stage of the formal policy development process, which will then lead, hopefully in the final event, to further rounds of new GTLDs. So I'm pleased to say that's yet another piece of concrete output from the GNSO Council in its capacity as manager of the policy process.